So I'm going to briefly explain the group work. It's going to be dealing with randomness, which we incidentally know a lot about. So I'm going to split you into groups with 4 people in them total, okay? 2 people will be flipping a quarter. 2 people will be pretending that they're flipping a quarter. So I'll start with the pretending. So for the people who are pretending to flip a quarter, you're going to look at the sheet, which is here. Let me just shrink myself a little bit, okay? The coin toss experiment data sheet. You can see that it's got number 1, number 2, number 3, and then heads or tails, and then run. So I've kind of created that here. So if I'm the person without the quarters, I'm just going to pretend I'm flipping a quarter in my head. So for the first run, for the first flip, let's say I get heads, then I get tails, then I get heads, then I get heads, tails. Just make it up in your head. You're not actually flipping a quarter. You're just making it up in your head. What I'm going to do in the run category is I'm going to look at how many of the same thing are in a row. So for example, this head is followed by a tail, which means that this is a run of 1. There was only 1 head, and then the run ended. Same with this one. Now this one, there's a head followed by another heads, which means that this run is 2, and I don't put anything in this box. Okay, so this was a run of 2 heads in a row. Okay, 1, 1, etc. So the 2 people who are pretending that they're flipping a quarter, you're each going to fill this out. Why does it always fucking freeze? Okay, sorry it froze, but that's okay. All right. Okay, so that's the people who are pretending that they're quarters. The people who are actually going to be flipping the quarter, you're actually just going to do this. Should have been prepared and gone, but that's okay. I'll just wash my hands. Okay, so you're going to get rid of all this stuff, and you're going to actually flip the quarter and then write what you get. Okay, so let's just do it. So I have heads, 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 tails, tails, heads. So now I'm going to count the runs. I have 3 heads in a row, so this is a run of 3. I don't put anything in these because they're 3 in a row. Then I have 2 tails in a row, so this is a run of 2. And then I only have 1 head here. But presumably, you're going to do all 100 in a row. Okay, so there's 100 flips. So you're either going to be doing the virtual flipping, so you're not actually flipping a coin, you're just writing out what you think it is going to be like, what a random 100 heads or tail flips of the coins are going to look like, and then 2 people in the group are going to actually flip the coin and get the results. Okay, that's part 1. Then you're going to graph your results. So on this axis, we put the number of runs, and on this axis, we put the length of the run. So if you have a run of 1, right, then a run of 2, a run of 3, a run of 4, a run of 5, a run of 6, etc., then I put a bar for how many of those I got in my 100 flips, right? So if I'm just looking at my example here of 6 flips, I had 1 run of 3, I had 1 run of 2, and I had 1 run of 1. So that means I had 1 run of 3, so I put 1 here, and I put a bar for 1 run of 3. I had 1 run of 2, and I had 1 run of 1. Let's say I actually had just 2 runs of 3 and nothing else, then my bar for 1 and 2 would be 0, and my bar for 3 would be that I would have had 2 runs of 3. Does that make sense? I hope that makes sense. So for the folks who are doing the virtual, you're going to graph this. For the folks that are doing the real actual coin flips, you're going to graph each of yours. And then all four of you are going to compare them, okay? And you're going to answer a question which is not on here, which I'm going to put in, I'm going to add to this at the bottom. You're going to answer a question, what is the difference between the people who did it without the quarter and the people who actually did it with the quarter, and why? So I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, let me know and we'll try and clarify, but it should be pretty straightforward.